thrifting ain't easy, unless you're watching me. Welcome! You're watching the Thrift Store Rundown, kicking off our 9th year of bringing Hollywood home on a budget, and heretofore counting down to our 10th year in production, which coincidentally is when America will turn 250 years old next year in 2026. Coincidence? I think not. If only he was around to see America's big birthday, JFK Jr. Anyway, July 24th, 2016, I launched this YouTube channel with a mission that wasn't quite certain other than to show you what I got at thrift stores across North New Jersey. Over time, the mission evolved and is now concrete, yet still evolving, and we have never wavered, and that is secondhand shopping with a Tinseltown touch. So today, as in years past, we look back and look forward with People Magazine. It's kind of a pseudo-tradition. We don't do it every year, but we have done it for a few consecutive years past. And this 10th edition of the People Magazine Yearbook comes at a pretty penny, nearly $10. $9.99 from the Thrift Store in Paterson, which is kind of ridiculous. But the value lies inside, and of course I can't ignore the sudden tragic passing of John F. Kennedy Jr., the Prince of Camelot, as many people would say. An ironic and sad twist, he and his wife Carolyn Bessette spent nearly 1,000 days together as husband and wife before he tragically passed. Irony can sink a ship in the most fatal, sad way possible. But beyond that, there's plenty of other stuff to lighten up the mood, along with plenty of other hard-hitting human interest stories, because if nothing else, People Weekly at the time, now People, 50 years onward, prides itself on being about people, and not just celebs. You know where we stand. We're pop culture forward around here. So we begin with some unfriendly fire. Woolsey O'Donnell versus NRA Ambassador Tom Selleck. Whether on her own show or on The View, Woolsey O'Donnell has the gift of gab. It's both a blessing and a curse. On The View, it was mostly a curse, and we'll talk about that in an upcoming review for Ladies Who Punch by variety journalist Raman Situde. Also with the gift of gab and the curse of multiple sclerosis is Montel Williams, who talks about his diagnosis and how he's handling it with his then wife Grace. We've already done one of his books, and that would be Mountain Get Out of My Way. You can search that on the channel, or you can find it in the link below. This is Martha Stewart, and as you can tell, her favorite color is green. She makes a gaffe in Washington, making quite an impression at a White House state dinner and a killing on Wall Street, as Martha Stewart Living Omni Media debuted on the NY Stock Exchange, gaining 100% in a single day in terms of shares. We don't do a lot of Martha Stewart, but we do enough to know that she is, without a doubt, as People says, Our Lady of Domestic Perfection. My Lady of Domestic Perfection is Katie Brown, but we always got room for Martha. Prison sentence for a taxi reason be damned. And we will be doing more Martha Stewart books in the future. We got her cooking school cookbook and her big book of crafts for kids, for starters. As you can expect, there's plenty of award show coverage, the Oscars, the Emmys, Golden Globes, Grammys, SAG Awards, and in case of the Emmys here, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston took home none, but they look awfully pleased with their consolation prizes. Each other, at the time. This is the Primetime Emmys section, by the way. On the left side, we have the Daytime Emmys, and of course we all know that moment when after 19 nominations, Susan Lucci, Erica Kane of All My Children, finally picked up her first and only competitive win, along with 4.5 minutes of a standing no that executive producer Dick Clark graciously allowed to continue without a single cut. We've done a handful of All My Children reviews and a whole lot of soap opera reviews. I'm a soap opera novice, but I know All My Children the most because once in a while I fancy that more than the rest, and we got plenty more soap opera books to talk about. On this side here is the SAG Awards, and we got some Friends of a Black Feather: Lisa Kudrow, Phoebe, Courteney Cox, Monica, and Jennifer Aniston, Rachel. Friends of a Black Feather, flock together, with Courtney assuring the world that her rubberized Dolce & Gabbana dress was actually very comfortable. Sweet, bountiful bosoms, words nearly fail me to describe how hot they are, especially the love of my life, Courteney Cox. If you could be served anything around here on this channel, be served this. Our friend's adventure has only begun. And so too has my love for Courteney Cox. And Lisa Kudrow and Jennifer Aniston for that matter. They all look hot. But still, my heart belongs to Courtney. Going beyond Monica, Jules Carver, Cougar Town, Gail Weathers and Scream, Lucy Spiller and Debt. Oh yeah, we'll be talking about it all in the months to come. A Philippine mill goes to the IRS. You remember the seminal moment when on primetime TV, the first person ever in television history to win $1 million on the game show that started it all, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? His name is John Carpenter. Ironically, he worked for the IRS, which wasted no time collecting $400,000 of his million. Oh well, at least they'll always have the history and the hype. We got plenty more game show reviews to come in the future. I'd like to do more millionaire reviews. They just better be compact. Also, chambermaid, Judge Judy, the fastest, funniest mouth on TV, getting ready to enter her 4th season in production, and going up against her husband, Jerry Seinlin, then arbitrator of the People's Court before Judge Marilyn Milian served as the longest-serving judge on that bench. She now has her own show, Justice for the People, from Allen Media Group, which has been nominated for a Daytime Emmy. Alongside Judy Justice, Judge Judy's relatively new foray, and maiden voyage in the streaming service era. Season the Money financial guru Suze Orman helps readers stay cash savvy. I watched a lot of the Suze Orman show when I was a little kid, preferably the Can I Afford It segments were my favorite. I'd like to do a lot more Suze Orman books in the future, they just have to grab me. As far as Judge Judy goes, we actually have 1 or 2 videos down the pipeline featuring her as a penny-pinching power player. She's collected a few thousand views for her Justice Served DVD. You can find out by clicking the link below. We'll also have a link for Suze Orman's Young, Fabulous, and Broke book. Spellbinder, Britain's J.K. Rowling enchants with a tale starring a young wizard. 3 of 7 planned Harry Potter books at the time. The Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban. All 3 of those, and all 7 of her books were adapted into an Oscar-nominated series of silver screen adaptations, all handled by Steve Kloves, screenwriter, with a series of directors and big bucks at the box office. Not to mention big star power, Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, the works. We don't do a lot of Harry Potter books. We don't do a lot of Harry Potter soundtracks. We don't do a lot of Harry Potter period because I'm really not a big fan. But I respect Harry Potter, and we got a couple of more things down the pipeline, preferably in the DIY arena. Isn't it bliss? Well, so far, this is all celebrity weddings in this section. Raquel takes the 4th, Helen Shannon and a Spice venture their 1st, and so too does, again, my dream bride in a fantasy life, Courteney Cox. This is about the 3rd time that I've seen this particular photo of her and her new husband, her first and only one, David Arquette. They both met on the set of Scream, and had been going steady for over a decade before they split up. But every time I see this photo, I think to myself, why? Why isn't it me standing next to Courtney as a husband and wife? Nothing that some homemade fan fiction can't take care of. There's a lot of talk of celebrity romances, new babies, and splits in this section of the pages that follow. Finally, in the remembrances section, Mario Puzo. That's right, the man who wrote The Godfather and gave mobsters a second wind of respect and lore, if you will. Mobsters actually shook its hand because of that. The Godfather was adapted into a couple of Oscar-winning films, one of which Puzo co-wrote, so it only makes sense to highlight him because I actually did the screenplay for The Godfather. I paired that alongside one of Stanley Tucci's cookbooks. And that too will be linked below. So, looking back, looking forward, remembering Gene Siskel, Roger Ebert's other half for Siskel and Ebert, and equal half I should say, the MTV Movie Awards, the People's Choice Awards, party animals at the Oscars, of course. People magazine sure does have the gift of gab, and in these chapters, with all the photos and all the stories, in the way only People magazine could photograph and tell them, you got yourself quite a gift here. And knowing that this is the 10th edition, which retails for $29.95 in the US, $36.95 in Canada, as the saying goes today, people love people. 5 out of 5 claps. This yearbook, to contradict Taylor Swift, is so not high school. It's so much more than that. And going forward, we at TSR will do a lot more than just bring Hollywood home on a budget. That I guarantee. And as ever, a tremendous thank you to everyone who helped shape this library in the studio and on this channel into being. First and foremost, all of you subscribers. Without you, no TSR. And all the friends and strangers I met along the way who helped out with these reviews, purchases, and videos. You know who you are. And rest assured, you too are my people. The best is yet to come, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell. And as always, I'll catch you on the thrift side. Thanks for tuning in. Just so you know, there's no limit to bringing Hollywood home on a budget. Please go ahead and check out another awesome review like this one by clicking here, and make sure you subscribe by clicking here. Until next time, I'll catch you, as I always do, on the thrift side.